Okay, so today, the first day, I want to talk a little bit about the almost like the first image that sort of inspired the whole kit at the beginning, and it is this image that you see right here. Now, we have had different types of processes and methods to build our kits, and between me and Tucker, we sort of try to use our strengths, right? So he's more in the 3D side of things. I'm more into the 2D designing part of it. And so we always go back and forth between the designing process based on those skills. And for this particular one, we knew we wanted something um, space-like, sort of like a Mars type of colony. And so we had a pretty good idea of what we wanted. And based on the references that we got, we started sort of um, coming up with different shapes and ideas. And one of the very first models that he made was um, this sort of like a hallway type of model design here, like this. And this is like the very early stages of us coming out with design. And not only that, the trick about this is also how we can make it work for it to be modular and also like a 3D kit. Because we can design something, but then if we start thinking about, okay, how are they going to make curved hallways, or how are they going to construct this and put it together, like how are these things attached to each other, all those little things and details we have to really think about when we're working on a kit. And so, but first we wanted to get sort of like the general feel and look of the kit as a whole, or the idea as a whole. And so when he sent me this, I started to play with it a little bit and sort of try to come up with just sort of image just to kind of start guiding us in the right direction. And I put them all together, sort of like a hallway, put some spaces in between, made like a little curve, and sort of set a simple camera. And this was a very quick thing. And I always like to do things like this on a smaller scale, right? So you don't see that I'm not dealing with like big buildings or huge vistas or anything like that. I'm dealing with a simple hallway, right? Nothing too crazy. And then I'm trying to figure out what I want, how I want it to look on a very simple scene like this, right? And so I set up a camera. I have some planes here that are that have some emission, right? And that they're sort of like emitting light, right? I was like the color orange, so we sort of had that a little bit in there. We of course changed quite a lot from here, but I sort of like what I had here, and we're sort of thinking at the beginning to have a sort of mix of interior and exterior as well. And so you're gonna see then in a lot of our models, if you look inside, you can actually see that there's details in there as well. And so I sort of set up a simple camera, simple render. I was like, maybe I can work out some of the design based on what I have here into something more, a little bit more complete. And so I did a render of this, and let me show you. So this is our render here, and this is where I took it. Now you don't see that there's a lot of difference in terms of um, the shapes and the big shapes and all that. But the main idea here was to kind of get the general feel about the particular scene and kit. And so one of the main things that we started thinking about is that the construction of this. So if you look at this, right, everything sort of looks like just like a one big piece, right? Except these rings. But I wanted to bring a little bit of the almost like a airplane sort of construction where you have the big pieces, right? But you're gonna see little cuts and cutouts on these big pieces that don't break the big shape, but gives you the idea that it was manufactured, right? So you can see a couple cuts, little vents, little places for bolts or panels and stuff like that. Not too crazy, not to go too sci-fi, but I wanted to break up a little bit of the big shapes and bring up some of that manufacturer look into the piece, right? And so again, this didn't take, maybe like an hour or two just working from the model to this, right? Nothing crazy, but just kind of start giving us a the right direction when we start building the pieces, and having in mind that we want this to look manufactured. We want to have this sort of like airplane sort of like construction look, and of course that sort of evolves with time, but that was sort of helping us designing the pieces in the right direction. And we're going to talk a little bit on different pieces. We're going to talk about the design process once we start getting those pieces, how we can fine tune them and keep adding to it. But this was the very first sort of like image that we made, and we're like, oh yeah, we sort of like this direction, and then based on this, then we started sort of like designing and modeling and building the rest of the pieces based on that. And again, there was always a back and forth process. And so the same idea that I did here, from using the model, making a sketch over, you're going to see this in all the videos. That's sort of how we started designing all the rest of the pieces. But I just wanted to share the sort of like the beginning stages, right? Very early, um, very early designs of the kit here, and then how we sort of evolve from there.